Good evening. It being 5:30 on Tuesday, April 21st, I will call to order this meeting of the Shelburne Board of Selectmen. We have also joining us the Finance Committee this evening. We will at some point be giving a quick final review of the annual town meeting warrant. We'll begin, as we always do, with the
I
re-
got this now.
with the review of the minutes. We have the minutes of April 6th and April 13th. Rod, have you had a moment to review them?
I have. I have no additions or subtractions.
Neither do I.
I
So,
make a motion we accept minutes as presented.
and I would second the motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, put the matter to a vote. Rod?
Aye.
And I am I. Motion passes 2-0-0. Thank you for that. We do have an appointment tonight at 6, which is going to be Terry Dunn on that pay issue, which we've had a discussion with the Finance Committee earlier. Let's pop to liaison reports. I don't have any this evening from the Police Department or the Police Services Advisory Committee. Rod, yourself?
Um, I have a one from emergency management. Um, I haven't really had a chance to read it. My day yesterday and today have been kind of messed up. But
Okay.
it talks about he's submitting for a grant, and that's, I guess, in the process.
This is the
Tom,
hazard, is that the hazard mitigation grant?
yes, yes, it is.
That'll come up under new business.
Okay.
So
Uh,
we are good there.
Yeah, I guess that would be it then.
Okay. Um, let's jump down new business item B. We have a communication and a document from Chris Curtis regarding the Deerfield River Watershed Association asking for a letter of support for the 2026 Woodlands Partnership Grant. This is a grant that the Deerfield River Watershed Association has successfully applied for several years now, or at least during my term, and obviously looking for a letter of support from towns through which the Deerfield River flows, and we are one. We did approve such a letter last year. Any comments or discussion on that, Rod?
No, I uh, I think
Uh,
that's something we should continue doing.
it's very straightforward, and I would uh, make the motion that we do sign the provided, actually version 2 of the letter of support.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll put the matter to a vote. Rod?
Aye.
I am also aye. Motion passes 2-0-0. Okay. Um, Item C under new business, Tom Williams, the Emergency Management Director, was not able to make tonight's meeting since we had to bump it from our regular Monday night timeframe due to the holiday yesterday. It is a hazard mitigation grant opportunity, and I do believe we have some information on it. So the plan is due for mandatory 5-year update as prescribed by FEMA. The grant is one that both MEMA and the FERCog have recommended. The grant request is one that can be done online. I recall doing that last year. You do see the application itself in your packet. The applicant's Tom Williams, Emergency Management Director. The requested funding is $30,000. Project description to update our local hazard mitigation plan. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. So he's looking for authorization to submit this grant application. It doesn't commit us to it. It simply gives him the opportunity to go ahead and submit the grant with our support, or the grant application. Any comments or discussion? Oh, Andrew's joined us. Hi, Andrew. Any comments or discussion on the request from Emergency Management Director? Hearing none, do we have a motion to give our approval for that application?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, put the matter to a vote. Rod?
Aye.
Andrew?
I'll abstain. I didn't hear the discussion.
Okay. And I will be aye as well. So the motion passes 2-0 and 1 abstention. All right, we're going to jump to any other business. Our next regularly scheduled meeting is May 4th. One item that has come in with a request for some urgency is a request from our Council on Aging. I'll give you their synopsis. The Shelburne Cultural Council, I'm sorry, I said Council on Aging, my bad. The Shelburne Cultural Council is requesting a one-time request to create a banner in the likeness of the official town of Shelburne flag, which would be used in conjunction with events and activities organized and presented by the Council on Aging. We will incur, they, being the Cultural Council, will incur any cost associated with creating the banner, and we'll put it to good use. We're hoping to get started on this project soon with the permission of the board. And that request came from Penny Spearance and the Shelburne Cultural Council. Any comments or questions on that? Any concerns? Seems innocuous to me.
I'm okay with that.
I'm fine.
Do we have a motion to approve the request?
So moved. So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, put the matter to a vote. Andrew?
Yes.
Rod?
Yes.
And I am yes. Motion passes 3-0-0. Okay. One other item that has come in, also post creation of our agenda, and that was from you, Rod, actually, with regard to the safety condition on Old Greenfield Road. I understand you had at least the second close call. The problem being 18-wheelers that use that road, which is, we all know, narrow, sharp turns, and they keep taking out our brand new guardrails. And so, Rod, you have the floor. What would you like to bring?
Well, I'd like to put some signage up limiting weights and no tractor trailers or tandem trucks unless, they come before us and say somebody's doing work, we could give them a permit or verbal okay to go up, but there's far too much truck traffic on this road.
Mhm.
I've
Are
talked
they
to
using Old Greenfield Road because the grade is too steep on Route 2?
some of it work being done and just the truck traffic is going way too fast for one. And they feel like my feeling is they feel like they're the only vehicles on this road because it's a dead end now.
But it
But
doesn't,
once Greenfield gets their road together, I mean, the tractor trailer trucks inevitably are gonna start reusing this. For whatever reason, either GPS or whatever their reason.
mhm.
But talking with Jeff, we've come up with like a weight limit of 50,000 pounds that enables us to put our plow trucks on, which weigh in at 40, or no, 45, I guess he said. And just tractor trailers are not meant to be on this road. I'd limit them totally, exclude them totally.
That is at our discretion, Terry?
I would think the decision would have to be made jointly with the city of Greenfield because they own a portion of that road. And then I don't know if there are any rules. When this first suggestion came to light, I had suggested that Jeff speak to someone at Mass DOT just to find out whether or not it's within the select board's jurisdiction to enforce these things on the road, but I haven't heard back yet from him.
As far as I heard, Mass DOT left it in our ballpark. And Jeff has talked to whoever down at the highway at Greenfield, and they were willing to put signage up if we supplied the signs at their end.
Hmm. And what's Jeff's position on it?
He's all for this. He feels pretty much the same way I do.
Okay. Andrew, any thoughts?
Again, the only questions that come to my mind are, if there's basically only three ways in and out of Shelburne. There's Brook Road, Old Greenfield Road, and Route 2. And so that just leaves the question of what happens if one or more of those routes are shut down and you've got the road posted. How do you deal with that? And are there any legal or other barriers to putting um, truck restrictions on roads? I just don't know what that procedure looks like in terms of how people in who have the larger picture of of statewide, logistics of how you move trucks around in the state, um, look at stuff like that. I mean, I understand the safety issues. I'm just wondering what happens if we say one of our three ways through Shelburne is no longer at your disposal.
Good
Well,
question.
yeah, there
So,
there would still be two, of course. But yeah, in an emergency, if you had if the police were diverting traffic down that road towards Greenfield, then obviously the police aren't going to be there to enforce it if the police are sending people down it. So I don't know.
Well, the other question that comes to mind is does the bridge, or I don't even know if there's more than one bridge, but there's at least one bridge that we replaced on Brook Road. Is that rated for 18-wheeler truck traffic?
Don't know.
Because if we're now got down to two roads and 18-wheelers start, for whatever reason, choosing the alternative byways, yeah, are they going to be able to cross that bridge?
Well, there already are, obviously. That's why we're here tonight talking about it.
No, no, no. I'm talking about Brook Road.
Oh, Brook Road. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen them coming up Brook Road as well.
And our bridge is rated for that kind of traffic?
Wouldn't have a clue.
I'm just saying,
exactly
before we
no.
post signs up, we might want to know what our options are for routing traffic through Shelburne.
Yeah, I do think it warrants a little deeper discussion. I'd love to see something in writing from Greenfield saying that they agree to this, but I'd also like to have the police chief weigh in and Jeff about potential detours in the future.
Okay. So Rod, you want to go ahead and pursue
I will.
that with the chief and ask Jeff if he can get something in writing from Greenfield. Obviously, it'd be futile to post them in an easterly bound direction on Shelburne entrance to the road without posting it at Greenfield. They can't get to the Shelburne town line and turn around on that road for sure. So they need to be stopped back in Greenfield where it's still a possibility.
Yeah.
And if you can get see if Jeff or you can get that in writing that they would put that up. and ask Jeff about the rating for Brook Road Bridge.
Okay.
How much
Bring
do
it.
school buses weigh? They must travel that road.
What does the school bus weigh, dear? No,
Are
not
you saying
sure.
the bridge does have a weight limit posted?
Nothing on Brook Road is posted.
Oh, okay.
So we'll find that out. Jeff may know.
Yeah. Well, it's a new span that we put in a few years back, so
You would think it'd be fine, but
yeah.
all right. All set with that, Rod?
I'm all set.
Okay,
It's
thank
a
you.
good place to start.
All right. We're a little ahead of our first appointment too. Let's jump down to correspondence and finish that up. Actually, I'm sorry. Is there any other business that I'm not aware of that you wanted to bring forward, either of you or Terry?
None, unless
Nothing for
Andrew
me.
has a liaison report.
I can just say I just came from a sewer commission meeting, and we are meeting with the chief operator to talk about the pump station replacement project and trying to reconstruct the history of that. Maybe Terry can help us at our next meeting and understanding that better, since we've had a lot of new personnel in the sewer region there for in the last few years. I think Terry and I might be the only people who stretch back more than a year or so in that department. And I did attend the Franklin Regional Council of Governments meeting last week, and uh, they did their first reading of a personnel policy and updated us on a variety of other things as well. But and I have not, I don't have new updates for highway or library today, but I will get those for our next meeting.
Terrific. Thank you very much. All right, correspondence. We have we can acknowledge the receipt of correspondence from Jackie Goodman. She has submitted her resignation from the Memorial Day Committee. You have her brief email in your packet. Apparently, dividing time for herself between Shelburne and other commitments in New Jersey and Philadelphia has caused her to feel like she should step aside and let someone else who can give it more time come. So I think we would all agree that we accept that with regret and wish her well.
Well, just having been a attendee at those events, I know Jackie has done a great job, so we send her off with our thanks and appreciation.
No question.
Yes.
The second correspondence we have is from Nicholas Donalo regarding the 49 Mechanic Street property. You have that also in your packet. It's a letter about the liquidation or the disposal of 49 Mechanic Street. I don't think we need to take any action on it other than to acknowledge that we received that letter stating his opposition to the expense for determining if the property can be sold to a third party. Any comments other than that for this letter?
No, I think once the voters have voted on the articles that are in the warrant, then we will know what direction we're going in. And if we're not going in that direction, then that the warrant articles are suggesting, then I think Nick is very likely to have a shot at bidding on that property.
I would hope that we can do it along with a bunch of others if that comes to that. But like you said, we don't need to worry about that until after annual town meeting for sure. Good. I believe I've hit everything other than our review of the annual town meeting warrant. We're a little bit early. It's not public hearing, but Terry Dunn is with us, so we can start early. Terry, are you waiting for anyone else to join you tonight, or can we
No,
begin?
that's just me.
Perfect. All right. This is regarding the compensation of the town collector and the assistant assessor by the Shelburne Fire District. So you want to give us a nutshell overview of where we're at on that, Terry, and what you're looking
Yeah,
for?
I mean, there's been some confusion. I think basically the fire district had been dealing with non-salaried situations for many, many years. This goes back almost 50 years that and once we got our salaries up to our compensations up to a point, it became really clear that we needed to start with W-2 wages and withholding and all this kind of stuff. When we did that, it became clear that the collector function and the assessor function is provided by the town under the statute that created the district. So this created a conundrum for us, and I think also for you as the Board of Selectmen. And I know we've had conversations with Terry. Pardon me, I have a little scratchy throat here. But Chapter 41, 108, 8B specifically lays out how the district should compensate the town for the collector and the assessor. And it's pretty clear. I mean, it says, that there has to be an agreement between the parties as to what the salary or compensation is. And then the district was required to appropriate that amount, but it gets sent to the town, and the town adds that to the pay of whoever the collector is and whoever the assessor is. And it can't be used to supplant their already existing salary. It has to be in addition to. So that's where we're at. As of July 1st of this coming year, okay, we want to implement that factor, that condition as specified under, 108B. So I'm
Terry,
assuming you have a copy of that in front of you. Yeah.
I do. Terry?
it was my understanding that there was no clear process for making this compensation happen, and that's why we're here. That neither town council or the Division of Local Services would advise us on a correct processes for compensating, whether the district compensate the employees directly or whether they compensate the town and then the town compensates the employees. I thought that's where we need to make the decision.
I respond to that, Terry? I mean, I think the statute is kind of clear. It says when this exists, and that is the case, it's written right into our statute. Granted, should we have addressed this 50 years ago? Probably. And it probably didn't come up in an issue until the current collector treasurer position was merged and it became a full-time employee, because for all the years that Mo was involved, okay, as collector, and the other assessors, principal assessors were, it just wasn't an issue until we came up to the reality that we have to deal properly with our employees. The problem is the collector and the assistant assessor are not employees of ours. They aren't. We can't withhold taxes on them. We can't deal with regular employment issues. They're not our employee.
Yeah, but I'm reading chapter 41 too, the paragraph that I believe Terry sent you April 14th, somewhere in that time frame. But the quote is, in a town in which a district has been created and is operating under a law which requires assessors of the town to assess district taxes and the collector of taxes of the town to collect such taxes, The district shall annually appropriate money for the salary or compensation of the assessors and collector of taxes, which shall be in addition to the amount fixed by the town for salary or compensation.
Right.
So it doesn't say who should do that. To me, that implies you should do it as the district. That it's not saying that the town has the obligation to do that. It says you need to raise that money, but it doesn't say who pays it.
Well, it's
Now,
just that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So one option that I heard discussed was you raise that money to pay the town treasurer collector and the assessors, and you send that money to the town, and then we use that money to pay her or pay them. So it gets a little convoluted that way. What has been working previously, as I understand, was you were 1099ing them.
Right.
And you got some pushback from one of the two, and that's kind of what brought us here tonight. Um, so,
Well, I think, yeah, I think the best thing to do here at this level of discussion is talk about the position, not who's currently filling the position. I mean, the collector could be somebody else next week. I mean, as far as,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, it's the position we're talking about and
correct.
not any individual currently filling that
Absolutely.
position.
That's correct for sure.
Okay.
And,
Go ahead.
Andrew, did you have a thought?
Well, just to say, Terry, there are several models that you might draw from that are happening on the other side of the river. The Shelburne Falls Fire District, I'm pretty sure, raises money and hires its own staff. So they actually have their own employees. Am I
Yeah, so
wrong about
those,
that?
yeah, so do we.
Okay.
Okay, so
So
the
in that
fire
in
chief
that
and the fire chief, the treasurer, okay, and the administrative assistant are all employees.
okay, so what's
Okay,
preventing you from having a clerk who's an employee?
because we don't have the clerk, we don't have the clerk or collector. We're
I'm
talking about
sorry. We're
Collector.
talking about a
the
collector now, yeah. So
right,
you could have a
but
collector as an
no,
employee too.
we do not because the statute says the town will do it.
Where does it say that, Terry? That's what I
In
couldn't find.
okay, in the act enabling the district, not in this, okay, in the act that enables the district, which was 1976. Okay, you don't have a copy of it probably in front of you,
No.
but there's the act that was passed by Congress or by the legislature and signed into effect in 1976, which creates the district. Okay, states that the town will collect, will do the collection and the assessments. It's written right into the enabling statute.
Okay.
And we've gone back to that years ago. I mean, I remember discussions in 1978, 79 about why the town had to do it. If, you know, that's part of the law. Go ahead, Andrew. I'm sorry.
So if that is the case and the Shelburne Falls Fire and Water District model is not applicable to you, the other possible model to draw from on that side of the river is how the wastewater district is run, which has governing bodies on either side of the river, the Shelburne and Buckland sewer commissions, who have very, very limited staff, and then the employees of the wastewater treatment plant, plus the town administrator, who does are employees of the town of Buckland. And so Pam Guyette, who's now the Buckland Town Administrator, 10% of her salary is paid by the sewer commissions. So we each pay 5%. So if that model were applied in Shelburne, that means the current Shelburne collector, uh, a portion of her time and her salary would be paid for by the fire district, which would probably not make her very happy because that would place her fire district work inside of her 40 hours a week as a town employee. The alternative, if that were not satisfactory on all sides, would be to find a part-time employee of the town of Shelburne who would act as your collector and we would employ.
I'm not quite sure if I'm following that, but I mean,
Well, that would
I'm
be
just
the
trying to
model
see
of
if I,
like the of Faith who serves the planning and zoning boards and is a very part-time employee of the town. You'd have to find somebody with collector skills who would be willing to work a few hours a week or whatever the requirement is to collect the taxes and be an employee of the town of Shelburne.
But doesn't it require software in the town?
Yes.
yeah,
Yes,
we,
it
and we,
requires our software.
yeah, it
Requires
requires your
software.
software and everything else. You issue the tax bills, you collect the taxes and everything else, and we compensate you on a separate bill for those, a proportion of whatever that costs. And that's determined by the collector and the mailing of the bills, the production of the bills and so forth, and the turnover. And the turnover from the town collector is to the district treasurer.
Right. So
So
either
everything,
you're either requiring our town treasurer collector to work more than a 40-hour week in order to accomplish that outside of her town duties,
that would,
or you would have to reduce her town duties enough so that you could place this responsibility inside of her 40 hours.
as far as I'm concerned, that's your problem. In other words, if you feel that there's a in proportionate, allocation of time, that collector is your employee. Okay, so again, the only thing this 108 says is you can't use it to supplant the existing salary. Okay, so it's an added amount. How that translates back to your operations, okay, is again, I don't have any control over that person or that function. You do.
Well, if it's an added amount and that's required by statute, then we're essentially requiring our treasurer to work a more than 40-hour week,
A collector, I'm sorry, collector.
our collector.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, we could go back to a time previous in which the collector and treasurer positions were separate, and then we would have part-time positions in both areas, and it would be less of an issue in terms of how you tack this on to one of those positions.
I agree with you 100% on that. Okay, and when, for example, Maureen Pike was the collector, okay, we compensate her by agreement between her and the district as to what that would be, and the assumption was she did that in on time. However, it worked out for her. There was no hours, as a salaried employee, there was no, she wasn't salaried, but I mean, it just didn't matter from an hour, 40-hour a week kind of situation.
Well,
So
it didn't
was
matter
when you
because she wasn't working 40 hours.
right. I agree. Yeah. I understand the town's conundrum on that. Okay.
Terry Narkowitz, this also affects the assessor, and she has weighed in on this. The assessor's assistant on
Yeah,
her.
I did speak to Karen because she had a similar situation in Montague where she provided the same services for a district in that community. And she said she was compensated and received either a W-2 or a 1099, depending upon the amount of the compensation.
Right.
And that she was not opposed to either or.
I talked to Karen too, but again, I think we're really talking about the positions and the functions ongoing, whoever happens to be filling those. right?
Yeah, it impacts us on those two positions.
Right, right.
But if the charter or the documentation that established your fire district says that it'll be taken care of by the town, but you would pay for it, and it can't be taken away from her existing salary. Am I clear on that?
That's what 108 says, yeah, right.
That's what?
That's what the 108B says, yes.
Okay, yeah. Then it sounds like we're almost between a rock and a hard spot. Does the finance committee have any input on this?
We're in the same conundrum you are, I think, Rick.
We haven't seen the bylaw. I'm actually trying to look up this 108B thing.
Yeah.
108. It would be helpful if we had seen this bylaw ahead of time, and we don't really.
Yeah, you were talking about a packet. It's in a packet?
No, we
No,
didn't get that either. We didn't
Oh,
get
okay,
I believe I sent it to you in an email.
okay. But that's the extent of it then, right? There's
Yes.
not more to it. Okay.
Yeah, what you're missing probably is the enabling act for the fire district in 1976.
right.
Okay.
I didn't see that.
That's one of the key things that brings us to this in the first place. Okay, is that act requires the town to assess and collect taxes in the same manner as which the town does it. Okay. And the district has been set aside. It's really the town of Shelburne minus the Shelburne Falls Fire District.
So,
Rick, if I could. Rick,
yes, go ahead.
Jason here. Just for insight knowledge, my daughter's the tax collector in Buckland. And after our last meeting, I kind of ran this by her just to ask how Buckland does it. She said it's very similar. Their Buckland Fire District, not the Shelburne Falls Fire District, does give her a stipend, a much smaller stipend, to add it. And on their bill, it's basically on the real estate tax. It's a line item with the fire tax that she has to add. And pretty much, she's the only one who can do it because she's in the software. They give her a small stipend. It's under the amount that would need to be 1099. It's under the $600 number. So she doesn't get a 1099 from the fire district, but she does get that. And she was basically, or I was implying, thinking it through, and like, there's almost no way not to do it on town time if you have to use the town software to enter this. And so she is, in theory, doing it on town hours and gets this small stipend. It's a much smaller number, so we probably wouldn't be debating under $600 quite as much. But, her insight was that is fairly normal to do. And then I think the real question is just whether or not, we want to support that it become part of her salary, work towards her retirement, or whether or not, the recommendation from you guys would be to continue as a 1099. Those seem like the two logical options. But just food for thought.
And I don't know if this matters at all, but I believe the $600 limit for 1099s is going up to 2,000, I believe. And it might even be in 2026, but don't quote me on that because I'm not 100%.
It's been 600 for years.
I know, but that's something else to think about. But Angel that would probably be okay for Karen, but Angel's still over the 2,000. And it doesn't change the fact that she would still be getting a 1099 and she doesn't want one.
So the choices are the fire district pays the town the lump sum. The town then has to increase her salary and do the match of the tax, the FDIC, all that stuff, handle all of that, so that it gets into the retirement system. yet it's not defined how many hours that takes away from town business. That seems so convoluted. The other option being, as Jason said, the 1099 like you've been doing for years, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
But I think the other thing too, just to clarify, I think if there's added costs for the FDIC and, for the fringe benefits that we're talking about, I don't see that as being a problem if it being part of the compensation package that we reimburse the town for. Okay, if it was, whatever that happens to be, it's a percentage. Okay, so, that can be calculated. So, the compensation coming back to you would be the 3,000 plus whatever the fringe is that's at. I mean, let's be fair about that. That's
Okay.
by all means.
Okay,
But
Terry Mitchell?
Hi, what about this? What about Angel actually keeping track of her time spent for the fire department, the town billing the fire department for her hours, an amount that would cover her hours. If you're adding her to payroll, now that's going to be subject to unemployment, the FICA portion of the town's match on FICA and Medicare. It's part of payroll, so that's part of your workers' comp calculation. I think you got to calculate all those costs, come to a cost, bill the town for the fire department for that, have them reimburse the town. I don't know if the fire department would have to actually give the town a 1099 since they're a municipality. I don't know the laws on that. Donna could probably tell us, but it gets rid of Angel's 1099. The fire department doesn't have to hire a payroll clerk to do all this stuff and a collector. It seems like it might be your cleanest way. It's a new routine and new habits to get into, but I think once you got into the swing of it, it doesn't matter if our collector comes or goes, or Angel comes and goes. That's what we do for that position going forward.
Andrew, I see your hand up. If I can just give one comment back to Terry before Andrew. Wouldn't that process be taking those hours out of her 40-hour week when the regulation says that we can't do that? We have to add to it.
Okay, then don't take it out of her 40-hour week, but just have her keep track of the hours so you know how much you're billing the fire department, how much they need to reimburse you for. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Does that make sense? Or did I not explain it right?
Super quick, if Andrew doesn't mind, I wanted to make a comment about the FICA stuff. Can I do that quick, Rick?
Go ahead.
Last week we talked about, Terry brought that up and mentioned the 15.2% that all of that adds up to. I since heard that I don't think municipalities have to pay all of that, and that it might just be the Medicare portion.
Actually, you are probably right on that.
So it's
because
not 15, it might only be like 2% extra.
No, you're right on that because they're not subject to Social
Like,
Security
yeah.
like you and I, they pay into a.
So it might be a
different
much
retirement.
smaller portion of that $3,000 that we're talking about.
Yep, but it's still, you
Right.
calculate it based on that then, instead of the FICA.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But it is a much smaller number.
but good point, you're right on that.
Andrew.
A couple of comments. One is it seemed to me that the model that Terry just laid out is the Pam Guyette model of how she works for both the town of Buckland as an administrator and the sewer district for 10% of her time. That's what you just described. So if that's doable, I would support that, but it would require a reassessment of her duties under the other two buckets of collector and treasurer, and to say, which brings me to my other comment, which is if she's been doing this all under a 1099, my question to you, Terry, is how come we don't know how many hours it takes to do this job? Because are you just paying her money, or or is she saying, here's how many hours I worked and here's what I'm billing you?
Regardless of her
It's
hours.
a negotiated price, okay, but to answer your question, Andrew, again, the problem that I can see with this and is that the statute that we're looking at, 108B, is pretty clear about, you know, the, the which shall be in addition to the amount fixed by the town for salary compensation as provided. Okay, so you can't use this as a supplement to her existing salary.
Right.
Well,
That's
it's
where
in-
it gets
That,
But
otherwise
if
you'd
you
be,
go back and say we can define a treasurer collector position that is a 30-hour a week job, then you can tack on another 7 hours a week and she's still got a full-time job, right?
that again I think that's a select board issue and probably an employment issue that you might be subject to some
Salary position, isn't it?
Well, listen, here's my
So,
here's my take on this, guys. We've done this on a 1099 regularly. One of the two people or one of the two positions that the fire district shares with the town for that service has an issue with the 1099, and that's why we're here. We're late in the year. We got a budget that we're going to finalize, is finalized. We're going to review tonight briefly. I think we're looking at the 1099 for at least another year and see if there's another way to figure this out. That's my 2 cents. It's worked. We can't take it. If we tried to do it the other way, I would think you almost are saying, well, wait a minute, you got to give that as an overtime pay rate. When in fact, this is a simple flat stipend fee, correct, Terry?
It's an agreed fee between the party A and party B. Yep.
So my vote would be that we leave it at 1099, certainly for the next fiscal year, and see if there's another way to figure it out.
I don't particularly have an objection to that, but
I'm
Just
inclined
trying
to
to
agree with you, Rick. I don't see the only other solution I see is the model Terry laid out, which requires a total reassessment of her entire job.
Well, I don't know that we could do that because it would definitely reduce her pay, and it would be obviously why it was being reduced, and we'd be in violation of the agreement. That would, why would we take this on? Just
Right,
do the
okay.
1099 that we've always done.
I certainly think we can live with it for another year. So, and I think we should think about a long-term solution for this because players are going to change, and we should have this codified. But certainly for FY 27, we should be able
I
to
think the
just deal with.
long-term solution is either to change the language in 108B or to pull the collector treasurer job apart and make it two jobs again the way it was before.
Well,
Okay. So, do we need a vote to put this to bed, that we recommend that the fire district continue, or the Shelburne Center Fire District continue with the 1099 for those two positions? Yes?
Yeah.
Do we have such a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll put the matter to a vote. Andrew,
Yes.
Rod,
Aye.
and I am aye. Motion passes 3-0-0. Terry, that takes the heat off. We're really
Yeah,
close to everything, and we'll be glad to entertain this. I think you should send us that agreement that you kept referencing that none of us had seen before, okay?
yeah, we'll do that. But thanks for the time and energy. It's a busy time of year, so I appreciate your time. All
We
right.
appreciate yours. Thank you, Terry.
All right, take care now.
Thank you.
Okay. I believe we have completed our agenda, except for final review of the annual town meeting warrant. So we do have the Finance Committee here with us this evening. I trust you all have your copies of the warrant and the omnibus article number 7. One of the most regular comments I've had in discussions with voters is that they get to town meeting, annual town meeting, they pick up a packet at the door, and their first review of all of the subject matter at hand is during that meeting. And the complaint being that they don't get a sense of a consensus of the people elected to run the finances of the town, the select board, and those finance committee members, what their recommendation would be. And I would like to see us include in the warrant a tagline to each article that something to the effect of supported by a consensus of the select board and finance committee, or not supported, some phraseology that would give us an idea, would give people an idea of the position. One of the things that we see happening that brought this up is when the moderator presents it, the question, he generally asks the finance committee if they have a position on it, and they say yes, no, or whatever the absence thereof is. But the select board really doesn't get a chance to weigh in as a group on these things. And I think it would be helpful on those that it makes sense if we were to do that. So I'd like to try and see if we can work that into our conversation tonight, even if it's our own notes of consensus that we could discuss verbally during town meeting. But we have met, we've gone through the entire warrant article together in our previous meeting.
You have a spare pen, this one is done.
I don't think that
Yeah, one that's kind of looped them up there.
I don't think this should take forever this evening, but let's give it a go and see.
Oh, wow, you do, thank you.
The first 6 articles are all pretty much standard operating procedure that we need to do every year to conduct the business of the town. Does anyone have any comments, questions on Article 1 through 6? Or do you have a consensus to whether you support them or not? Finance Committee? Does the Finance Committee have a comment on items or Articles 1 through 6? If you're talking, you might be muted, although I don't see a mute symbol.
Yeah, we don't see them.
Oh, there you are.
Oh,
Okay.
No, we're good with 1 through 6.
Yeah.
We support them.
Okay. Select Board, consensus of opinion, support 1 through 6? Thumbs up, thumbs up.
Support.
Article 7, omnibus budget. You have in front of you, I trust, the 3-page sheet with the increase decrease column. We went through these at our previous meeting. There is the request that there be a sheet put out for the larger percentage increases, and that is prepared and ready, that would explain in advance rather than having people say, what about this one? What about this one? The ones that we think might get questioned, we have already produced answers for. And when I say we, I mean to the good work of Terry. Thank you very much. Any comments, items that you would not want to support, or do you have a consensus of support for it as presented?
What do you say about that?
we haven't even
Didn't
talked about it yet, so.
We're not prepared to make a commitment one way or the other right now, I don't think, Rick.
Okay, so we could.
Here's another way of asking your question, Rick, is are there articles that you want to hold out on town meeting floor to talk about?
Both haven't talked about it.
I mean, items within
As,
7.
as a finance committee, we haven't discussed that. Like individually, we may have things, but we can't take a stance as a finance committee at this point.
We're hoping to get to that later after we're done with you guys. Can't
Okay.
get a meeting ourselves.
We only received the final version of the warrant here within the last couple of days.
So we could return to Rick's question on the 4th of May then.
No, because we need to put this to print tomorrow.
No, I'm just saying we could have a cheat sheet, Rick, that would have that information on it that we could supply to voters if that was what
Mhm.
you wanted to do.
Okay. On the,
So in the past, other years, the finance committee has had a cheat sheet with holdout kind of stuff. Is that something, being new to the committee, is that something you're thinking of doing this year, is to have a one pager?
It's not even new. I mean, we give our report for the town meeting and it lists them right on that and they're handed out at the doors. People come
Yeah,
in.
yeah, that's what I mean, the cheat
Yeah.
sheet of recommendations.
Yeah, but we haven't as a committee done that yet.
Right. So I think to Rick's answer, it wouldn't necessarily be on the warrant, but it will be a handout that will be ready that day on
Excellent.
on the 5th.
okay.
Just
So-
like in previous years, yeah.
Terry, Narcois?
Just so we won't have seen that until the night of town meeting.
Hopefully the finance committee will vote to take our stances on these items tonight. After tonight, you could have that information. We can't provide you our recommendation on the omnibus warrant right now because the finance committee has not taken a vote of it.
Terrific. And you-
Understood.
So the question was, you'll share it with us prior to the annual town meeting.
Hopefully,
Not-
yes.
Yep,
Maybe
as
not
soon as
tonight.
we have it, we can get it to you.
To discuss our stand on the omnibus budget right now really makes no sense because as a committee, we can't say what our stance is yet.
Very good. Excellent.
One little comment I would make, Rick, while we're on this subject, the not cheat sheet, but the sheet that we got today that has the large increases and so forth on the health insurance line item. The health insurance line item is not only rate increases, we added another benefited employee. That's a significant chunk of that.
You're talking the explanation of proposed budgetary increases sheet?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, the last item under general government.
Last time under general government, we also added another benefited employee.
I will make that change. That description was submitted by our treasurer, but I can add that to that.
Perfect.
That's a significant chunk of that, not a huge chunk of that change, but to say that whole change is just a rate change is really not accurate.
Great. We can make that addition. Any other comments on that sheet or the omnibus article for us tonight? Hearing none?
I guess based on that, should they also add that to the unemployment line and whatever other lines that benefit that person affects? So would it just be unemployment, health insurance?
Retirement, probably.
Wouldn't be retirement yet because they're not
Vested.
they're not past it. So it would be, you'd want to have that same notation on at least the unemployment line. And then if you guys think through what else that might affect, should just be those two, right?
That's what I'm seeing, yeah.
Put that same notation on the line above as well.
Just on
It's a tiny
Health
number, but
insurance, yeah.
you know, if you're
No,
being
but it's-
accurate.
Still, yeah.
Very good. Article 8, any discussion on that? We went over these, as I said before. Nothing has changed, I believe, on that since we met. Don't know that we need to go by them one by one. Are there any that you would like to call for discussion? I'll ask my select board members. Rod, any in the articles for the annual town meeting that you would like to discuss this evening, or
I have nothing. No, thank you.
Andrew?
Um,
I think the only one we changed since we reviewed this together was filling in the sewer uh, committee numbers, right?
Yes,
yeah.
and the food pantry, Article
And the
9.
food, and the food pantry, right?
We
Not
need-
even,
we need to say
even
we're
the
not
most
gonna make a
recent then, because
recommendation.
mine are empty, mine are blank.
I guess,
That's
Rick, if
That's what they
we're
wanna know.
taking the
Well,
whole
But I
lump
did
in
though,
one
really,
shot,
sorry.
I guess the
Right.
one that I would call out
It's the-
that I'm not in favor of is the
our current
flood
one.
map article.
Um,
That was the first one.
the planning board
Okay.
submitted that. They are an elected body. The Conservation Commission, as you know, we discussed at our previous, had concerns about it. They wanted more time to think about it or plan on how they would enforce it. There's trainings that have happened and they reversed their decision in an official meeting and decided that we should leave it on the warrant because it'll give them the opportunity to have it go to the Attorney General and be vetted. And the training that they need, it won't be implemented for at least a year when the maps are finalized. So they do have 12 months, and they didn't want to have to do it at next year's annual town meeting, which would happen before the maps are going to get finalized. So they did come back and give the support, and they withdrew the request made to the planning board to pull that one. The planning board chair then responded that yes, he would like to leave it on the warrant. So I don't know that
I
we,
understand all that, Rick. Your question was, is the select board in unanimous agreement with all the articles on the warrant? And my answer was no on that one.
I didn't know I phrased it that way, Andrew. If I did, I made a mistake. I
Oh.
think I asked, are there any questions or comments on any of them?
Okay. That was my comment on that article.
Okay. Well, I don't think we have a right to take it out.
I wasn't suggesting we take it out. I thought what you were asking to do was to put a notation under the article saying, does this have the unanimous recommendation of the select board and the finance committee? And on that article, the answer would be no.
Well, I think the decision before that was that the finance committee is going to do their own sheet
Okay,
on the agenda, and we can
I got that.
do the same, and
Oh,
wouldn't put it on the.
okay. I thought you were going to only put the select board's recommendation on these articles. So if you're now not doing that, then I'm not sure what we're doing at this point.
I agree. This is a
Okay.
simple review of the warrant, and the inability of us to discuss it in the absence of a meeting is why we're having to kind of figure it out together tonight,
Okay.
due to open meeting conflicts or violation. And the finance committee hadn't made those decisions themselves, although they were aware that was a goal. That's something they're going to do tonight. So let's not worry about putting it on the printed warrant. We'll worry about that as a handout separately at town meeting. What we need to do tonight is just give our blessing that the version you have in front of you is the version that we want to put forward, as this needs to go to press and get posted.
Can I just make a comment?
Yes.
I feel like it will be a lot to have so many handouts as people walk into town meeting. And if the select board want to put whether they support or don't support on the warrant, I think that's great. It'd be one less piece of paper we're handing out. Ideally, if the finance could get me their recommendations tomorrow, I could add theirs to it before the constable comes to pick up and post. But again, that's just a big wish on my part. But we're going to be giving people the warrant, the annual town report. We're going to be giving them a sheet on the increases over 5%. And now you're suggesting two separate sheets from the select board and finance committee, whether they support or don't support. Just seems like a lot of paper.
Well, I can't argue that. And it sounds like the finance committee could provide that to us tomorrow.
What
Terry,
about, whoops, sorry. Thought you were done.
Terry
What
mentioned,
about if you don't want to have so many papers to hand out at town meeting? What about under each article, just saying select board supports it, finance committee
That's what
supports it?
Terry wants.
Oh,
that's what we.
Okay.
But she needs us to answer.
right. Okay.
But I think you can post the warrant just the way it's printed right here if we approve it tonight. And then the copy that you hand out at town meeting that night can have the notes underneath it. That's not
It's not part of the warrant
the
itself.
legally
That's
posted
just,
warrant can be doesn't have to have those comments in it. You can just take the same document, add those comments and hand it out the night of town meeting.
That's true, providing I have at least, I'd love a week and a half for publication and getting the warrant out.
What's that date?
Yesterday.
I mean, if you were to give me your decisions after tonight's meeting by sometime tomorrow, I could run with it. But
Well, let's set that as a goal.
Yeah, we'll do it. We can do it tonight.
All right, then let's have,
let's adjourn so we can go do this.
you may go ahead and conduct your meeting unless you wanted other input on anything else.
The only other thing I had was this Article 9 that's on here about the food pantry. We
Yes.
didn't discuss that at all the other night. We took out the Article 9, it was in there, and then this one slipped in. Are we going to, obviously, we're going to put that on the $10,000 on the warrant. Is that the wishes of the selectmen?
I thought the consent.
yeah,
Go ahead.
it wasn't slipped in. It was voted on at a previous meeting of the select board when we had a representative from the food pantry speak, and I believe the finance committee was present. I just overlooked putting it on the warrant.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
So Rick, the only thing before the finance committee adjourns is that the one article that doesn't quite fit into this scenario is the Wheeler CPA request, that if we're going to do that by secret ballot, then we would not post our recommendations on that. Yes.
Yeah, I would think that Article 20 through 22 should be a no position taken for.
I think a fair amount of them might be on our part is, that we have no recommendation. So we'll probably take that stance when we talk later, but.
Okay.
How
I
about
mean, my personal comment on the playground is I need to hear more from the committee that's proposing this article about the whole deal and what their plans are, who else is funding it, what happens if the school gets sold, all that stuff.
So, but that wouldn't preclude listing those articles, the library, the fire tower, the Wheeler Farm, and the
Playground.
playground. Where is the playground?
It's
Playground
19.
is 19.
Yep.
Out of reach.
So
What's that?
you have a problem, Andrew, with
Yes.
Article
Uh-huh.
19 through 22 being listed as no position taken by the select board on these?
19.
Well, no position taken by the group as a whole or by individual members of the select board. I mean, I do have a position on those articles, but I don't know what that,
Well, I think we all have positions on those articles, which is why we want to say no recommendation made it.
Right.
At least that's my desire. I would prefer it to say
I'd prefer it that way.
no recommendation.
Okay.
Rick and Terry or whoever, for any of these, is it appropriate to say select board recommends 2-1 or finance committee recommends 3-1 versus unanimous recommendation? Or would you only note if it's a 2-1 on your end or a 3-1 on our end, do we say the finance committee recommends, or do we say the finance committee recommends 3-1? And that might solve Andrew's concern if there's a, if it's a 2-1 vote on your end, should that be in the notes to the public?
However you wish to present it.
Yeah.
I'm sort of asking you guys what you think. I would lean towards select board recommends 2-1, and then they know that it was voted on as a recommendation, but it's not unanimous. And then if it is unanimous, you could say select board recommends unanimously.
That
And
works.
Yeah.
And you also have the option of no position.
Or no position.
Okay.
And I
Sounds
think
cool.
all of us might want to do that for all the, community preservation stuff, because it wasn't presented to any of us as a board. Like
Yep.
all these
I agree.
articles, we should all take no position on all of those.
That's
And
what
we could do that in the explanation. Yep.
Good. All right. Your meeting, send us your stuff tomorrow if you would.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening. All right. So if that's the approach we're going to take, I agree. 2 more sheets of paper make no sense when we can roll it into this quite simply. It's what I wanted to see if you guys or take the poll consensus this evening. So let's do that. Let's go through this. The articles 1 through 6, we will list those as supported by the select board unanimously. That's a question.
Yeah.
Yes.
Article 7,
Yes.
Yes.
yes. 8,
Yes.
Yes.
3 yeses. Or we'll put those as unanimous. I'm sorry. 9, food pantry.
Yes.
Rod?
Yes. Yes.
But
I'm
this
yes.
might be my last year to vote yes on this.
Yeah, I would be with you, Andrew. We asked
I
them
agree.
to really dig in, and they didn't show us anything that they had. So there's a lot of people that rely on it. I don't want it to go away just
Yeah.
because it just seems wrong to do. People that need that, we're going to do it one more year, but we've got to put their feet to the fire for sure. So
Exactly.
number 9, unanimous. Number 10, trans.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Unanimous. 11, I'm a
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
I don't,
Yes.
I don't really know what that's about, but I vote yes. Is that their budget or is that something else?
It's the
This-
stipend of the director. A portion gets raised by taxation and a portion comes from user fees.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a yes.
That's unanimous. Article 12,
Yes.
Yes.
unanimous. 13,
Yes.
Yes.
unanimous. 14,
Yes.
that's the pressure washer. Andrew, if you said something,
I did say yes.
I'm so
sorry.
sorry. So that's unanimous. 15,
Yes.
Yes.
unanimous. 16,
And what's this one
Yes.
about?
It's taking 10,000 of user fees and putting it toward the maintenance of the Cowell Gym.
Okay, yeah, I'm a yes.
I think you said yes too, Rod.
Correct. Yes.
Unanimous. 17,
Yes.
Yes.
unanimous. 18,
Yes.
Yes.
unanimous. 19 to 22,
No position.
I guess I'm still a little bit in the dark about what it means to have no position if you have a position.
I think it would be no position as a board because that wasn't presented to us.
Okay, so that would be the way I would say that is we may have individual positions about this, but we didn't take a position as a board because we didn't have a chance to review it with the CPC.
And we have asked for that to get corrected next year to roll
Yeah.
that into us. So with that notation, no position was not presented to the board, something to that effect.
Right.
You're good with that, Rod? 19?
I am, yes, yes,
Perfect. 23,
The unrestricted, yes.
yes,
unanimous. 24,
Yes.
yes,
unanimous. 25,
Yes.
yes,
unanimous. 26,
Yes.
yes,
and unanimous. 27.
Yes.
yes,
Unanimous. Article 28,
Yes.
yes,
unanimous. 29,
Yes.
yes,
unanimous. 30,
Yes.
yes,
unanimous. 31,
31.
the pilot program the assessors presented us for Great
Oh,
River.
yes, I'm a yes on that.
okay, yes,
Unanimous. 32,
Oh, I see. Terry, it looks like Article 31 is in a different font size. That's why I couldn't see it.
it's the same in mine.
No, it looks like Article 29 and 30 are in 12-point type, and 31 looks like because
Huh.
it's up. The others are all caps, and that's upper lower. That's why.
Oh, yeah. Article 31, the word article should be in all caps, Terry. That's what he's seeing for
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
good catch.
No, it's
30,
just my eye was glossing over it, and I couldn't figure out why, but because I thought it was part of Article 30, but
right. 32.
there should be a space there.
Yeah, I'm missing a space as well.
Above
32,
32.
yes,
I'm a yes on 32.
Unanimous. 33.
I'm a no on that.
I'm a yes,
So it's a select board, two yes, one no. $34.
I'm okay with that.
yes,
Did you weigh in, Andrew?
I'm a yes, yeah.
Unanimous on 34. 35.
yes,
Yes.
Unanimous. 36.
Yes.
yes,
Unanimous. 37. Another follow-up to the same wording changes.
yes,
Yes.
Unanimous. $38. This was the energy battery storage, which the Attorney General said, oops, can't do that.
But this is just one section of the battery storage that relates to vegetation, right?
Right. All the rest
Yes.
last year, but we've got to pull this out because the Attorney review said can't do that. So
Right.
it's an amendment to what we passed last year.
And this language has been approved by the Attorney General?
The language is deleting.
No, but I mean the 2365, that is that language we're adding or leaving in, or it looks like adding.
It's
It's
rework.
I'm just wondering if that's been approved by the Attorney General.
They
Yes,
won't-
that was a portion of the last version that was commented on by the Attorney General. Take this out, put this in.
Okay, so it's gotten their blessing.
Yes, but it'll still have to go again, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah, I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
38
I
is
would recommend on 39 that you move Article 39 down to the next page just so it is easier. You don't lose that, just having two lines on one page. It's a 7-page article.
actually mine breaks halfway down a page, Andrew, so it may display differently on each.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Article 39 is a third up from the bottom of the page on mine, not the
Oh,
bottom.
I'm looking at a different version, I guess. I don't know.
The one
Well,
I have 39's at the top of the page.
Yeah,
Mine
it's just-
too.
Oh, how strange. Okay. Well, I'm just looking at an email that you sent me that said final warrant, but
yes, that's the one I'm looking at as well.
oh, okay.
Yep.
I'm
Oh,
looking
just
at the
our
printout.
computers are making it appear in different places?
I don't
Possibly.
know.
It's possibly the font size you've set for viewing.
Maybe,
so-
I don't know.
Yep.
I'm looking at a printout.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Okay, whatever. Yeah, that was just a thought.
Okay.
I'm not in favor of 39.
And I am in favor of 39.
I'm in favor.
So 2 support, 1 against on 39. That's the end, right? Good. I really think that's going to give people that kind of get this, sit there and read through it in advance of the start of the meeting and as the meeting goes, as they approach, to give them an idea that we've spent our time, done our due diligence, and reviewed them and come up with a recommendation as to whether we support them or not. And I think it's I don't know that it's been done before. If it has, I don't recall it, but I think it'll be a great help. And I hope the Finance Committee will supply it in time to add theirs to these notes. And we can get this to the printer and get it posted and not worry about which version has the comments and which one doesn't, that we could post it with the comments. I think that makes more sense if we can do it. And it sounds like we can, provided they give us theirs. I believe we have a moment to do public comment. We have 2 folks on. Anyone care to offer us a comment tonight? You know that we can't discuss them if you wish, but you certainly can speak to anything. None from Paul, none from John. We are good to adjourn unless I've missed something. Have I, Terry?
No, I don't believe so.
Perfect. We'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
And we will still have to do our roll call vote. Made and seconded, no discussion. Your vote, Rod.
Aye.
Andrew.
Aye.
And I am aye. Motion passes 300 at 6:53. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Have a great evening.
Good night.
You as well.
Night.
Good night.